This hour by Frederick Remington, fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. Exclusive, no refrigeration, 10-year extended shelf life bacon. The thickest, meatiest, center-cut bacon in the industry at fullycookedbacon.com.
The stocks discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering on acting on information, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice.
What kingdom has sent you?
The kingdom of the Most High.
Nothing you have ever experienced can prepare you for the unbridled carnage you're about to witness. Super Bowl, the World Series, they don't know what pressure is. In this building, it's either kill or be killed. You make no friends in the pits and you take no prisoners. 1 minute, you're up $500,000 in soybeans, and the next, boom, your kids don't go to college and they've repossessed your Bentley. Are you with me?
The Genesis Communication Network is proud to bring you Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week elf, Mark Leibovit, welcoming you on board his financial time machine. And here is the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's Mark Leibovit, and welcome to Wall Street Raw on this Saturday, August 26th. As usual, we have a jam-packed show for you this Saturday with some of our regular and special guests. Jeff Bishop is going to be rejoining us along with Kyle Dennis this week. SINCLAIR will be with us as well. Don VIALOUX, our Canadian representative from Toronto, will be here as well. Henry Weingarten will be joining us during the program. So don't touch your dial. A lot of interesting things this past week. Bitcoin, new highs on Friday, believe it or not, folks, $44.96 a coin. Still, I'm thinking big uptrend there, but in need of a correction. Gold continued to move higher this week. Had a little bit of a shakeout just before Janet Yellen spoke this week. A little bit of intrigue there. If we have time, we'll talk about that during the show. The bond market continued to push higher this week, and overall, the market still appears to be in a corrective phase, which is not unusual for this time of year. So we want to join our first guest, SINCLAIR this morning, and get started with our series of interviews. SINCLAIR? Welcome back, our good friend and regular guest, SINCLAIR from KFNN 1510 Phoenix, and author of the great blog, incomparable blog, as I call it, the eatthebankers.com. Hi, SINCLAIR. Thank you for joining us on this Saturday morning.
Always a pleasure. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, too. A lot going on this past week, and I guess the big story we should start off with, of course, is Jackson Hole and the Fed conference that's held every year, sponsored by I believe, the Kansas City board. In any event, you were talking off air a little bit about the history of the big Jackson Hole event, and it was always curious to me why they picked Jackson Hole for a Federal Reserve meeting.
Fly fishing.
Really?
Yeah, really. Kansas City Fed used to do a regular summertime economic summit, but they would move it around to different places, Kansas City, throughout the Midwest, and so forth. And then in the late 70s, Paul Volcker apparently liked to go fly fishing, and he suggested Jackson Hole as a permanent location for the economic summit, and it has been there for, close to 40 years now, I suppose, 30 some odd years. And basically it's because there's some great fly fishing in the Grand Tetons right around Jackson Hole.
I wonder if Janet Yellen is good with the fly rod.
I do not know, but I tell you what, Jackson Hole will be a pretty nice place to be this time of year for just about anybody, whether you fish or not.
That's right, I agree. I'll have to be up there myself now. But apparently Janet had a dinner speech Thursday night when she arrived, and she offered some forceful defense of the broad new banking regulations that were enacted after 2008. Apparently she's in a little bit of disagreement with Donald Trump about what should happen with those regulations.
Yeah, a little bit. You know, this may be the last speech that Yellen gives at the Jackson Hole summit. Of course, her term is scheduled to expire in February, and Trump has said that he will look for someone else. He also hinted that he may consider Yellen for a second term. I wouldn't think that's going to happen. I think he wants to put in somebody of his own choosing. So this is probably the last appearance at Jackson Hole for Yellen. And she basically had two choices here, kind of a valedictory address, accept congratulations, pat herself on the back for a job well done, or more of an instruction for whoever is going to follow her. This combines a little bit of elements of both, but it's mainly instruction. Her underlying message is, don't forget the lessons of the past. There is going to be another crisis coming at some point or another, and we still need some strong rules to be in place, because otherwise the bankers are going to make a mess of this thing all over again, which shouldn't be any surprise. The last financial crisis is a result of basically doing away with the rules and regulations that were imposed during the Great Depression under FDR. Glass-Steagall helped to keep the banksters under control for nearly 70 years. But then in the last days of the Clinton administration, Glass-Steagall was repealed, and it took all of maybe 7-8 years until we had an essential meltdown of the global financial system. So here we are 10 years down the road, and you want to get rid of those rules again. Actually, the rules that have gone in place since the crisis are not as severe as Glass-Steagall. Basically, though, they're just saying have a little money set aside for a rainy day. Build up some reserves. Something that the banks actually have been, banks and insurance companies have been telling us forever. You should set aside some savings for a rainy day. The banks say you should set aside money to insure against a rainy day. But banks and insurance companies don't want to practice what they preach. They'd rather go and gamble. And when those bets fail, they want the taxpayer to step in and bail them out. Well, we did that in 2008, but I don't think anybody wants to do it again. So, I understand where Yellen's coming from, but her remarks do definitely put her at odds with the Trump administration. Trump administration has called for rollback of many of the Dodd-Frank elements, including the Volcker rule, called for significant changes there. Yellen gave a slight nod to that, saying they could perhaps simplify some of the rules in the Volcker rule, making it a little bit less cumbersome without necessarily taking away the Volcker rule or many of the Dodd-Frank, many of the elements of the Dodd-Frank Act. Trump says that Dodd-Frank stifles lending, and that would in turn stifle economic growth. It's a hard argument to make when you've got the banks paying out so much in dividends and spending so much on share buybacks. They could take that money and lend that out. There's nothing to prevent them from doing that.
SINCLAIR?
They could do a lot for economic growth.
Okay, let's pick up on another segment during the show. SINCLAIR No, KFN 1510 Phoenix, and we'll have him back in a few minutes. Thank you, SINCLAIR, for joining us. SINCLAIR will join us back later in the program, so don't touch your dial. We'll have him back on segment 3. Meanwhile, don't touch your dial. Kyle Dennis and Jeff Bishop from RagingBull.com will be joining us after the break.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to wallstreetrawradio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I'm here to tell you about GCNtelecare.com, a team of board-certified doctors assisting you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Within 15 minutes of registration, care your family can afford. Revolutionizing the healthcare industry, virtual consulting providing diagnosis of non-emergency medical issues by phone or secure video on computer or smart mobile devices. GCNtelecare.com. Virtual care anywhere.
Message and data rates may apply.
Hi, I'm Frank Thomas. When I was playing ball, they called me the Big Hurt. But after I left the game, Mother Nature started putting a big hurt on me. I just couldn't stay in shape like I used to. Turns out, it wasn't my fault. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone, and that can make it harder to get into shape. But luckily, I found out about Nugenics.
Nugenics is a unique man-boosting formula powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help boost your free testosterone levels. Get a complimentary bottle now by texting PRIME99 to 42424. With Nugenics, you can feel stronger, leaner, with a lot more stamina and energy.
And guys, she'll like the difference too.
Nugenics is GNC's #1 selling men's vitality product. Get a complimentary bottle now by texting PRIME99 to 42424. Nugenics samples are not available in stores. So again, text PRIME99 to 42424.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com. Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists, get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
If food became scarce, would you be able to feed yourself and your family? Have you found some emergency food supplies can cost upwards of $300 for a month's supply, and worst of all, they're packed with chemicals and other unpronounceable ingredients? At 30dayfood.com, our mission is to provide you with food that's not only healthy and natural, but also affordable. At 30dayfood.com, for only $127, you can order meals that are naturally high in fiber, carbs, and protein, packaged in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers for a superior shelf life. For a limited time only, your order ships free, but that's not all. Enter promo code PREP10 to receive 10% off your entire order. Call 800-700-2184 today. 30dayfood.com keeps prices low by buying directly from suppliers in the Pacific Northwest, then passing the savings along to you. Go to 30dayfood.com or call 800-700-2184 for the most cost-effective and healthy food storage solution. That's 30dayfood.com at 800-700-2184.
If there's a toxic chemical, biological, gas smoke emergency while traveling at home or on your job, are you protected? Are you prepared? There are over 400,000 fires in the USA every year. Up to 85% of all deaths in a fire are due to smoke inhalation. 3 minutes without air and we as humans will die. Be prepared and escape safely with our Safe Escape Smoke Hoods, giving you up to 60 minutes of breathable air protection. Order yours online at ase-safety.com. That's ase-safety.com. And get up to 40% off plus free shipping.
Think big. Think positive. Never show any sign of weakness. Always go for the throat. Buy low, sell high. Fear, that's the other guy's problem.
Welcome back to the Wall Street Raw Radio Show with Mark Leibovit, your time machine for the financial markets. Want to know more? Go to wallstreetrawradio.com. Now, here's the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Welcome back our good friend Jeff Bishop, who's the founder of several popular financial websites, including TopStockPicks.com and RagingBull.com. Meanwhile, he has a passion for trading options and ETFs, and though he maintains a disciplined approach to the markets, he's also not afraid to make some big bets or swing for the fences when he thinks there's really an edge on a trade. So one of those, of course, was last week's call in Gush, which is the oil service industry shares, and that popped up nicely, Jeff.
Yeah, it's good to be on the show again, Mark. Thanks. Gush did have a pretty good week. It was starting slow, but the last few days it really started picking up. So I'm confident in that one going into next week. I think traders should really keep that on the radar. The stock just was in a nice downtrend for about 2 weeks, but sure enough, we finally have made a move, and I think it's going higher from here.
Of course, we have that Hurricane Harvey out there, right? So that might have something to do with it.
Yeah, so Gush trades off of the XOP ETF, which is mainly natural gas explorers. One thing I've always found is that the weather doesn't seem to affect natural gas prices too much as a lot of traders might think. So I don't think that the hurricane is going to have too much effect on natural gas prices one way or the other, at least for the next week or two. But I still think the strength of energy stocks is undeniable right here, so you should really take a close look at them. I think Gush is a good one, and if you wanted to take a look at the XLE index, too, with the larger oil producers, I think it's really good going into this coming week.
Last week we talked about the bond market, and you were a little cautious on the bonds. How do you see that market now?
Yeah, that one just hasn't worked out too much for me yet. And I'm short the bonds like I was talking about last week, and this wasn't a good week for being short bonds, but I'm still in the trade. It didn't move enough to get me out of it, and it didn't move one way or enough to get me out of the trade. So I'm still in it. That is a loser at the moment, but I'll be riding that one into next week as well, and we'll see if it turns course. On that one, I really feel like the market is just piling into bonds. It's looking for a safe haven at the moment. So one thing has got to give. The market's really got to come down, and people are going to be justified for holding bonds. But if the market continues to find stabilization and even increase, I think you'll see bonds really start to decline. And if we look back the last few years, the bet has been bet on the market going higher, right? So I think that if that continues to hold up, then you'll see some selling in bonds, and that's what I'm betting for, at least in the short term.
Thank you, Jeff, for those insights, and we'll check with you next week. Still looking at the Gush and the bond market here, and at XLE as a play on the oil industry. So we'll talk to you next week. Jeff Bishop from...
Thank you so much. We'll talk to you then.
Jeff Bishop from TopStockPicks.com and RagingBull.com. Welcoming back our good friend Kyle Dennis, who is from the RagingBull.com group of websites, and he's also the chief biotech strategist for RagingBull.com. He's an independent equity trader focused on covering undervalued stocks in the market, and he researches stocks that are a little bit under the radar, looking for supporting data about how the stocks could foretell catalytic events. Thanks for joining us again, Kyle, on this Wall Street Raw Saturday morning program.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Okay, so let's follow up a little bit. The biotech index, the IBB, bounced off that 300 support level you were looking for.
Yeah, exactly. So we were bullish on it a bit before, about a month ago on your show, and then I called for a little bit of a pullback down to 300. We made a little double bottom and then a bounce right off that 300 level, and now we've continued higher. And so I just wanted to touch base also on Fold and NKTR, which are two that I've been talking about the last couple of weeks. And I wanted to say how the IBB bouncing has helped those two stocks. So both of those are up, and I'm glad to report that I see bullish activity going on in those two names as well.
Fold is Amicus Therapeutics, and NKTR is Nectar Therapeutics, just for our listeners' benefit. We also discussed EIGR last week, too.
Yeah, that one is also performing pretty well. I'm looking personally to add into that one on any sort of weakness down to the 775 level. Have a little position in it right now, and I expect it to trend up towards $9 or $10 a share.
And for our listeners' benefit, IEGR is Eiger Biopharmaceutical. And there's a new stock on your list this week, Kyle, Carry Farm Therapeutics. Am I pronouncing it correctly?
Yeah, that's pretty good. The ticker there is KPTI. they have some phase 2-3 data for liposarcoma coming out in September or October. So I'm looking for just a slight pullback in that name, maybe to around 850 to get long, because I think that one's going to make a nice run up above 10 in this short period of time before their September or October data.
Okay, so we're going to keep an eye on Fold, Nectar, Eiger, EIGR, and KPTI, and of course we want to see that IBB index continue to show strength as well, correct?
Correct.
Thank you for joining us. Good friend Kyle Dennis from RagingBull.com, and we'll hope to have him back here next week updating his biotech stocks. That's his forte. Thanks again, Kyle.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle, and thank you, Jeff, both from RagingBull.com. Both sponsored interviews on our show, but great content, and always looking forward to having them on the show. Many of the trades that they have been presenting have worked out very nicely, so I'm always glad to get some good ideas from excellent traders who have some great short-term and near-term insights. As I mentioned after we got off with Sinclair, we are going to be doing another segment with him coming up here after the break, and my good friend Don VIALOUX will be joining us on segment 4 along with Henry Weingarten, so don't touch your dial. Meanwhile, a lot to talk about in the markets this past week. We seem to have a bit of excessive feelings either way about where the market's going short term, but not to beat a dead horse here, but I've said this over the last several weeks. We've entered and are in a cyclically negative period. Evidence supports that based on the chart readings that I'm doing in the volume studies. So not that we're necessarily going to have a big shakeout, but I'd be a little careful here through September. And, we should see a little better buying opportunity, as my overall feeling is that once we do get this dip, there should be a nice play to the upside into the fourth quarter. My current expectations are that we're going to definitely see that U.S. tax reform pass during the fourth quarter, and I think the market will anticipate that and move higher, and I believe the U.S. economy will approach a 3% plus growth number here in the months ahead. So I think bottom line is that's one of the reasons I think the market's held up so well. You could call it a Trump rally or what, but I think the economics are supporting that we are going to see ultimately higher prices. So any dip coming up here, which I do expect, should be a buying opportunity for those who are not in, and we'll evaluate as the quarter, of course, comes to an end. Don't touch your dial. We'll be back after the break again with Sinclair No, and after that with Don and Henry.
Go to WallStreetRawRadio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at WallStreetRaw.com. At WallStreetRaw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth, and help you avoid the next big market crash. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to WallStreetRaw.com and sign up for his free monthly Cannabis Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free monthly Gold News Raw report. Both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Cannabis Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at WallStreetRaw.com. That's WallStreetRaw.com.
Are you happy washing your hands with harsh chemicals? Are you happy doing laundry with detergents? Are you happy paying high prices? Find your happiness with Pure Soap. These all-natural, earth-friendly Pure Soaps are the very best you've ever used. Buy in bulk. Get a 12, 36, or 48-month supply, or get items individually and still save big. You're getting soap products twice as good as what you're using now, earth-friendly and natural soaps. Your family deserves the best. Happiness is 5starsoap.com. Why not put your money up the drain for a change? See them at 5starsoap.com or call 1-800-340-7091 for a catalog. Cal Ben Soap Company can save you thousands of dollars and give you good old-fashioned real soaps that are triple concentrated. Soaps made from vegetable and coconut oils. See their full selection of soaps at 5starsoap.com. That's F-I-V-E starsoap.com. Or call 1-800-340-7091 for a catalog.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-557-0158. That's 800-557-0158. Again, 800-557-0158.
Investing is a long-term process. How many times can you think of in the last decade that the stock market has destroyed retirement funds for people just like you and me? For your existing IRA, you need the security that gold has provided for centuries. Remember, gold has never been worth zero. Capital Gold would like to introduce you to the Home Storage Gold IRA. It's a self-directed IRA set up with all the protection and tax benefits of an LLC. But the big difference in this IRA is you invest in gold and you hold it in your possession. You can't do that with stocks. That's security. You can transfer any type of IRA hassle-free in days. Please call right now and learn more, and we'll waive the $500 setup fee and give you a free safe to store your gold. 800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. That's 800-535-7789.
Against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet anything that is thy neighbor.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw. Want to know more about Wall Street Raw and the Leibovit VR newsletters? Go to wallstreetrawradio.com.
We're joining Sinclair No from KFNN 1510 Phoenix and author of the blog EatTheBankers.com. And we've been talking about the Federal Reserve's fly fishing expedition and Jackson Hole in the last couple days. We wish we were on that fly fishing expedition, but in any event, very interesting presentation. Ellen apparently Thursday night had a 19-page speech, and she was noting that there was substantial progress toward the Federal Reserve's economic objectives of maximum employment and price stability. Do you agree, Sinclair?
Price stability is a key issue here, I think. I think that this is the reason why the Federal Reserve has raised interest rates 4 times in the past 2 years, why they're going to start trimming back their $4.5 trillion balance sheet, even though inflation has remained substantially below their 2% target. And even though the unemployment rate at 4.3%, the labor market still has quite a bit of slack left. The Federal Reserve could remain accommodative for quite some time. However, you get back to this idea of stability, and it's not just inflation and the possibility of future inflation that concerns them. It's the idea of the markets and the possibility that we are building up to another bubble. market distort even further, and we'll have yet another bubble. So they're taking this opportunity, this window, to tighten, because they can right now, even if there is a good argument to remain accommodative for considerably longer in the hopes of more economic growth. Economic growth is one thing, but the markets have definitely been distorted. The growth that we've seen has been on Wall Street in financials. It has not stretched over to Main Street very well. This whole idea of the wealth effect hasn't really played out the way the Fed would have liked it to play out.
Sinclair, speaking about Main Street, let's jump over to banks behaving badly a little bit this past week, with Wells Fargo CEO Timothy Sloan said that basically the forthcoming results from the bank's review of its consumer sales and scandal will cause more negative attention. Should we be worried about Wells Fargo getting some negative attention?
Yeah, we should. Wells Fargo is just one thing after another. I mean, on and on and on. They say they'll make some announcement in the next few weeks. The guess is that this involves even more fake consumer accounts that workers had opened trying to meet their sales goals. They've gone back and done some more examination, gone back even further, and they found, apparently they have found what could be a significant increase in the number of unauthorized accounts. They're going to be sending out information about this, notices to customers who have already been making claims, by the way, and they're putting together a list of additional customers who complained an account was opened without their consent. That's what we think is going to happen. Of course, it could be almost anything at this point. I mean, it's not just unauthorized accounts. They were putting insurance on car loans without authorization. It could have something to do with the charges that they've made over the years for fees of different sorts. If it's not one thing, it's another. I mean, at some point we have to just realize that Wells Fargo has been run as a criminal organization for years and years now, and they are not alone. Wells Fargo is not a unique bank. Some of the things that they have done may be unique to Wells Fargo, but their overall practices, that's not unique.
And the average person that has a deposit over there, I wonder if they even care or understand what's going on. That's what the frustrating part of all this is, that there may not be any changes. If all depositors left, that would obviously make some significant impact, you know?
Well, most people don't know what's going on. If they know what's going on, they probably care because they've just been ripped off. And nobody likes to be ripped off, but most people just aren't even aware.
Right. The average person I talk to doesn't even know anything is going on in Wells Fargo. So anyway, interesting story, and we're staying on top of it.
They watch the commercials. They see the stagecoach going by, and they think, oh, that's great. That's Wells Fargo. Fine. Yeah.
Sinclair, we ran out of time, and we wanted to cover some other stories, but we'll do that next week, and we're always happy to have Sinclair on our show. Sinclair No from KFNN 1510 Phoenix, and author of the great blog EatTheBankers.com, and I'm sure we'll have more Banks Behaving Badly segments to cover in the weeks to come. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Mark. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Sinclair, for taking the time for 2 segments on this Saturday morning. And as I mentioned on the intro, he's one of the chief commentators over at KFNN 1510 Radio for many years. Must be, hope I'm not incorrect, at least 20 years, maybe even longer than that, 30 years over at KFNN. And this great blog, EatTheBankers.com. There's a real reason why we put it on the show. You know, if you listen to the music, particularly at the opening of segment 3 here, where I play 2 segments from my favorite movie, The 10 Commandments, particularly when God's giving Moses some of the commandments, particularly 2 or 3 there that you hear on the opening. Basically, it's because of this segment and the way we address the markets here and all the corruption that has occurred on Wall Street. And I've seen it all, and I'm sure you've read about it too in the decades that you've been involved in the markets. So trying to keep the honest people honest, let's put it that way. And that's why we put out some of these stories, which you really don't hear about that much in the media. media. And I think it's important because there is a lot of manipulation in the markets. Markets are rigged. It's a matter of fact. Documentation has shown that. Whether you were talking the stock market, the gold market, any of the markets, currency markets, and we just have to play the game. And we're playing the game, but hopefully along the course of that, we can keep some of those honest people honest. So big focus for me and my newsletter and my commentary over the years in terms of what's happening on the street. Part of that, of course, is the volume work that I've been doing all these decades, my volume reversal. When I was a floor trader back on the Chicago Board Options Exchange, I developed that concept, and it's based on the fact that you're looking at insider or smart money activities by watching the shifts of volume in the market. And that's what I do at VRTrader.com with many of the stock trades and intermediate plays that we put on, and also our commentary. But I've never been caught in a market crash. And if you look at our intro to my book, The Trader's Book of Volume, which we published back in 2011, we document that. And why was I able to do that? Well, not that I'm prescient, but it's because I see the shifts of volume in the markets, and they tell you something significant is happening up or down. This is before 9/11, before 1987, before the flash crash in 2010, and so forth and so on. No surprises there if you're watching the data and paying attention to what's going on out there. So we're very proud of that record over the years. So we have still more coming for you on our show, and we're going to have Don VIALOUX from the Canadian Association of Technical Analysts and Henry Weingarten from the Astrologers Fund here on segment 4. So don't touch your dial.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to wallstreetrawradio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
I'm now convinced more than ever that we're just one major headline away from the next market crisis. Guess what? A new timeline report that I just read says that I happen to be right. Something big is getting ready to happen, just like it does at least once a decade over the last 100 years. An energy crisis in 79, an S&L crisis in 89, and the last two I warned you about, remember? The dot-com bust in 99 and the subprime crisis in 09. What's next? I want you to call for a free copy of Swiss America's new timeline report.
Thanks, Michael. Call toll-free 888-732-7164. That's 888-732-7164.
I've told you often, those who don't learn from history are destined to repeat it. Take action. It's no longer a question of if it's going to happen. It's just a question of when it's going to happen.
Call toll-free 888-732-7164. That's 888-732-7164.
Back pain doesn't take vacations. It never celebrates holidays. It's on the job 24/7 to keep your life exactly where it is, in limbo. But it doesn't have to be that way, because Laser Spine Institute can help you take back your life from chronic neck and back pain. With a less than 1-inch incision, our minimally invasive procedures have provided relief to over 60,000 patients with a 97% patient satisfaction rate. So get ready to stand tall and live the life you've imagined for yourself without pain. Are you or a loved one suffering from a bulging disc, herniated disc, spinal stenosis, pinched nerve, or degenerative disc disease? Call our spine care consultants now at
855-510-BACK.
For a no-cost MRI review and to learn more. It's time to say goodbye to chronic neck and back pain.
Call 855-510-BACK to see if laser spine surgery is right for you. That's 855-510-BACK.
What have you got to lose? Laser Spine Institute, the leader in minimally invasive spine surgery.
Ralph, remember when you said you were going to start paying more attention to your health and now you're eating potato chips?
Just a few.
A few, okay, but you should be eating Super Berries Aronia berries.
Aroni what?
Aronia berries from superberries.com. They're known for having one of the highest levels of antioxidants that helps with overall wellness. Go to superberries.com/radio. And right now we get a free smoothie recipe book with our order. Plus we can save $4 at checkout.
Wow, look at all the benefits of these berries.
I know, Ralph, I know.
Choose health. Eat purple. Superberries.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you can move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep REM sleep faster, and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry MyPillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. And here's my best offer ever. You can buy one of my pillows and get one absolutely free.
Go to MyPillow.com or call 800-870-0305 and use promo code GCN. That's MyPillow.com or 800-870-0305 with promo code GCN.
The answer to being in control of your own healthcare is freedom from insurance. Become part of a group of self-pay patients that come together to share in each other's medical expenses. Individual share amounts begin at $107 a month and $347 for families. Choose from 3 health sharing programs. Holistic treatments may be eligible for sharing. See guidelines. Discount programs available for dental, vision, and pharmacy. Go to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
Responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
There is no freedom without the law.
Get it? Got it? Good.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw and the final segment with Mark Leibovit. Now, here's the elf himself.
Welcome back, my good friend Don VIALOUX from the Canadian Society of Technical Analysts and also a former advisor to the Horizon Seasonal Rotation ETF between 2009 and 2015. But most notably, Don authors 2 great websites. One's called timingthemarket.ca and the other's equityclock.com. And it's always a pleasure having Don back on the show. Thank you for joining us on this Saturday morning, Don.
Thanks for having me back, Mark.
So, we got some interesting stories to talk about with regard to the currency changes between the Canadian dollar and the U.S. dollar. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Historically, currencies have been relatively stable, not so much recently. Currency changes can have a significant impact on the value of your portfolio. A U.S. investor, for example, holding Canadian dollar cash, saw the value of the cash increase in value since the beginning of June by 7.5%. That's a pretty good move in less than 3 months. Now, conversely, a Canadian investor holding U.S. cash or unchanging U.S. securities such as SPDRs saw the value of their U.S. asset drop in Canadian dollars by 7.5%. That's a huge drop just by owning a U.S. security. On a technical and seasonal basis, the Canadian dollar is expected to move higher relative to the U.S. dollar into September, followed by weakness into the end of the year.
Meanwhile, we have some other interesting things going on with regard to energy and so forth, that Hurricane Harvey is having an impact.
It's having a direct impact on selected assets. Most notably, we've seen strength in gasoline, natural gas, and sugar. Gasoline because of all the refining capacity, natural gas because a lot of the gas-producing areas are in the Gulf, and sugar prices because there's a lot of sugar production down in southern part of Texas.
Really
now, property insurance stocks are the ones which have been moving on the other side. They've actually been moving down in anticipation of paying some pretty big recovery charges.
Amazing. At the same time, the investors in base metals can't complain here in recent weeks, can they?
Yeah, we've mentioned this before. It's a very interesting sector right now. The base metal prices are soaring, and base metal equity prices are soaring as well. Now, for a U.S. investor, there's a number of ways you can play it. Probably the best known one is, would you believe, the symbol is PICK, PIC, as in pick shovel.
Okay.
So Well, there's a way of following that one. It went broke out into a new high just on Thursday, and on Friday it's moving even higher.
I got to check that one out. I got to pull up the chart on that one, Don. It's a new one to me. Well, thank you. That's a great piece of information. Talking to Don VIALOX from equityclock.com and timingthemarket.ca. Talk to you next Saturday, Don. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Mark.
Welcome back, our good friend and regular guest, Henry Weingarten from the Astrologers Fund. It's always a pleasure having Henry on the show. He's only been doing this for about 50 years and has a impeccable track record in calling major moves in sectors and the market, and including the current correction that started here in recent weeks based on his astro forecast. Thank you for joining us, Henry.
Well, thank you. Well, as we said, you could still stay on vacation for another week or so. Let's look at the big picture first. First, what's the good news? Well, the good news is that there's high consumer confidence, that we have tax reform that's coming, which we see this fall coming, and on top of it, we see that we'll get to 3% plus growth. So that, on the fundamental side, is good. But what's on the other side? Well, first of all, we have extremely high stock valuations. Secondly, we have short-term, both astrological and seasonal negativity, And the third side is there are all sorts of assorted geopolitical risks. So what's the bottom line of this? It means that the market's going to be down more in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and then it's going to go up. So what does that mean? You can do nothing or you can do something. If you do something, you want to do that over the next couple of days. You've got till about Tuesday to act. And again, this is not a tremendous correction that we're seeing, but another couple of points. And we came in, a day early before. So looking at the 2440 number, which is the S&P number, we've been trading in that range, give or take 50 points, 100 points. And we think it's going to, retest the lows we saw before, the 2420. Probably 2400 will be tested. I don't know if we'll see much more than that. We expect 5800 to 6000 on the NASDAQ. And the good news, of course, is the gold's doing nice. It's sticking above 1300 now and again, putting its head up there, getting slotted. But we hope to see it in September comfortably above that, and 1300 slowly becoming the floor rather than the resistance. And energy is a $48 sort of pivot. Most of the better news will be coming in fourth quarter. And you should start looking at what you want to buy. If you've sold nothing, it's not a bad idea to raise a little cash, but very little, and write some calls. But if you have cash, then you should start looking at what you want to own.
Great summary, Henry. Really appreciate that. So we'll touch base with you next week, and we'll see how the market acted after that key Tuesday date. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Henry Weingarten from the Astrologers Fund. For more information, go to the Astrologers Fund or afund.com. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you, Henry, and it's always a pleasure having Henry on the show. Great insight. So we have a couple minutes here into the end of the show, and we can do a bunch of different things. We can look at the active stocks, or the ones that had the big price moves during the week, or we can just talk about some of the markets. So let's talk a little bit about the markets. Telling you that Sherwin-Williams was up 10 points, SHW during the week, for example, I don't think is that important at the moment. I think reflecting on where we're at, we have the Labor Day weekend coming up pretty soon, and I guess volume is going to dry up a little bit as that approaches. That's on September 4th. So looking at next weekend, you're going to start to see traders take off, so to speak, and we are again in that cyclical negative period. So let's look over some of the markets. I mentioned at the top of the show, of course, Bitcoin surged to a new high on Friday. A little bit of surprise for me. I was looking for more of a pullback there, but definitely it's in play. We had some nice trades. If you check VRTrader.com, some stocks that are sympathetic to Bitcoin programming, so you may want to check over there. But as a general comment, I prefer to see a bit of a pullback. Copper, new recovery highs on Friday at $3.05 a pound, continuing to move higher. I'm still very bullish on copper. We have some copper plays out there. Crude oil, Sort of neutral to slightly bullish there. I think it's going to get more bullish into the end of the year. We actually took a position in some of the oil service stocks on Friday, more in terms of an ETF. So I'm a little more positive there in terms of the shares. Whether crude oil will respond here short term is to be seen. The bond market surprised a lot of the bears. We talked to Jeff Bishop at the top of the show. He was playing the short side there, but I'm seeing some positive volume come into the upside here, and I think if the market does have a bit of a setback, there will be more buying in the bond market as sort of a safe haven play. Gold had that nasty little shake intraday on Friday, and then it bounced right back. Still looking for it to clear the high from the 18th of the month, which was $13.01 an ounce, and I think it will. And taking a multi-month comment, I'm still looking for it to take out the highs from last year, which was way up there at the 1375 area. Palladium has been the strongest of the metals, folks. I don't know if you've been paying attention to that. We've talked about that. We've been trading it at VRTrader.com, reaching $942 an ounce earlier this past week. It may be going up another $100 or $200 an ounce. It's a really interesting market, very, very strong there, so something to keep an eye on as well. So I think that's a pretty good rough summary of some of the major plays here. I think the S&P could take out that 2440 and get down to 2385. Dow Industrials probably has 300 to 500 points risk here. And as we do each week, we close our show as what our old friend Ed Hart used to say on the Financial News Network in the 1980s and 1990s when he said, as we do, we will know in the fullness of time. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for listening to Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week Elf, Mark Leibovit. If you missed any of today's show or to get in touch with Mark, please go to wallstreetrawradio.com. Any stocks or investment discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. We first recommend you seek out a licensed financial professional for advice. Go to wallstreetrawradio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week Elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at wallstreetraw.com. Here, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth and help you avoid the next big market tsunami. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to wallstreetraw.com and sign up for his free monthly Cannabis Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free monthly Gold News Raw report. Both are totally free. No credit card information is required, and no one will call. Sign up today for your free Cannabis Vice News Raw report and Gold News Raw report at wallstreetraw.com.
Love or loathe him, Donald J. Trump is our 45th president. There is no denying now that Trump will go down in history, both despised and admired. Commemorate Trump's presidency with your very own Trump silver bust from TrumpSilverStatue.com. This museum-quality heirloom Trump silver statue bust is hand-cast from 20 troy ounces of silver, a great investment. From TrumpSilverStatue.com. Loathed or loved, own a valuable piece of Trump's legacy. Get your solid silver Trump bust today at TrumpSilverStatue.com.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with an SPF of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.